Okay, let's talk this morning about fragile alphas. Yes, I did say that correctly. Fragile alpha characters. I recently recorded a video exploring the current political movement's fragility in needing the rest of the world to enact or reflect its personal perceptions of it. It's a fragility in as much as the need of physical force to support its subjective view evidences an inability to be able to stand both within the world and separate from it. They are too fragile to exist in an environment that might grant limited means of control to see themselves as out of control as they actually might be. Because here's the thing, even people that are in positions that appear to grant most control over everything, they're still out of control. We're all out of control regardless of what people want to believe, you know. There's only one thing that grants human beings or a species control, and that is acknowledging the truth, acknowledging what's in the environment, acknowledging how fragile we actually are in this place, or how vulnerable we are, and deciding to stand in the face of it. That's what makes us powerful, not ignoring what's actually there, or controlling other human beings in an attempt to convince ourselves and them that we're more powerful or that we have more control than we actually do. You know, if an asteroid hits tomorrow, we're done. We're done. Don't matter what position you're in. If it all goes to shit tomorrow, we're all going to the same place, and all of our positions will have meant the same. They will have amounted to nothing. Okay? So, there is no control. Control's the illusion. So, I'll continue. So, it's a fragility to require the rest of the world to reflect back to you what it is you want to see, because it's a refusal to acknowledge how vulnerable you actually are. Because full acknowledge of how vulnerable we are in an environment and standing in the face of it despite that, that's what makes us powerful. Not lying to one another about how powerful we are. It's ridiculous. This behavior or fragility is enacted foremost by the alpha characters. Evolutionarily, the alpha seems redundant, except for in defense against other tyrants that would enact what they require by physical force. A wolf pack operates, technically, and all other packs, with or without alphas. The only difference being fairer distribution of food and fairer selection of mates. So the alpha's only actual use throughout history is to defend packs and defend what they deem to be their group against other alphas, against other fragile people who would try to shape the world by force. Yeah, you can't shape the world by force. You have no control over it. None of us do. Might it be better if this fragility were not present altogether, than its only benefit existing as an antidote to itself, or to a likeness of itself? I find myself asking why anybody would want to be recognized as the alpha, admitting themselves as the most volatile, sensitive member of a group that cannot exist as a member of that group or society without having their personal perspective of themselves and the environment reflected or confirmed by all other perspectives they come into contact with, and will enforce this with physical imposition. Why would this be naturally attractive to females as well? You know, I mean, this is easier to answer. A fragile partner is easier to control by provocation into action. So the alpha males grant a greater level of control to their partners in their concern for how they are perceived as suitable mates by others. A man who's overly concerned with what other human beings think of him, and this exists outside the relationship as well. This is a truth outside of relationships, or romantic relationships. You know, a person who's overly concerned with what the rest of the world thinks of him is very, very easily controlled. That's why in the current political climate, even in the Western world, they need to convince you what is your responsibility to the environment, how it is you should be, what it is you should be, what it is you should not be. Yeah? So everybody knows who they can judge based upon behaviors that they have predefined on your behalf. And you don't need to use your personal discernment, and then everybody's too afraid to stand out because social rejection, heaven forbid somebody should think poorly of you. Oh my God. God, where would we be? Exactly where those setting the standards want us to be, I imagine. Perhaps we'll all know when we've reached what it is we want to achieve as a species, or what it is we're supposed to be achieving as a species, when all men can just be, and allow all other men to do the same. When men are that powerful.